make sure you have the proper safety gear. You want the top of your head covered. Long sleeve shirt. Gloves. Here we go. What I'm doing, I'm just tacking it together, and we'll finish it off once it's all tacked together. Oh, by the way, I've only been welding for maybe a total of an hour. Okay, total weld time. And anyways, one thing I do know about welding is that on the inside here, it may or may not come out on the video, but see, I've welded it on the back side, and then I ground my weld flat. Okay, so there's no big bumps or sharp spots there. It makes it look a little bit more clean. But here there's a darker part of the metal. That means that the heat from the weld has gone all the way through to the other side, which means a good weld. Okay, so it's not a surface weld that is gonna crack under weight, right? So they're all good welds. It may not be the prettiest things, but I'm not after looks solely. All right, so I mean, it's got to look good, but you know, not bad for beginner, amateur. So anyways, the next thing to do is I'm going to take some of the flat stock, and I'm going to put a piece from here to here, right down the middle, centered as possible. Okay, so from here to here, and then I'm going to put some cross pieces across here, and that'll give the bottom of the rack here sort of a floor, so that my cooler or whatever I put there doesn't fall through. Alright, I just finished building the bottom piece, the bottom frame. Okay, on this side I basically spot welded everything together, and I finished my welds on the back side. Okay, so I got continuous beads holding everything together. It's nice and tight. So now I need to start building the top frame and the vertical supports. And I have temporarily tacked all the vertical supports up, so I can still bend them, so that when I attach the top frame, I can make sure that it's all nice and square. Hey guys, I'm approaching the end of this project. I've got about 4 to 5 hours worth of work into it, and I'm not going to continue any longer because I need to actually try it on the ATV before I start fixing all my welds, making them nice and smooth and painting it. I want to make sure that it's functional before I do that. Now you're probably wondering, how am I going to attach this thing to the ATV? Well, kind of borrowing the idea of the gas can holder that's already on there, which is basically bolting it onto the outside of the existing rack that came with the ATV. So to do that, what I've done is across the back here, I've installed some 1-inch angle iron. So basically what's going to happen is this is going to attach to the back ATV rack, like right here. So pretend my finger is the tubing, okay? The weight of the rack is going to sit on top of the tubing, like so, right? And then what I'm going to use is some pipe clamps to attach it so it doesn't fly off. Hopefully I played my cards right and this is going to work, because I need it tomorrow and for the next 4 days. After I use this thing, I'll have a better idea of what adjustments need to be made. Maybe I nailed it right on first try. We'll see. Hey guys, well, I installed my rack here. You saw me building, and it mounts up pretty good. As I suspected though, it's not 100%. I need to modify it a little bit to better fit my needs, but overall it's pretty good. The mounting went more or less smooth, where the angle iron, maybe, okay, right here, the angle iron is resting on top of the rack, okay, so all the weight's supported by the rack, which is attached to the frame, which is perfect. One thing I do need to change, if you come right over here, see how it's tilted, okay, so it looks like a saggy butt, okay. The reason why it's doing that is back here there's no support, okay. The only thing supporting it is the vertical piece right here that's touching the frame here and here. So what I need to do is across the back is weld a support piece that way there it'll push the whole thing out like this, and it'll keep it nice and level, okay. During this camping trip it's not 100%, but we are using it and it's doing the job effectively. And if you can come here and look at these ties here, the way I have it attached to these pipe clamps, unfortunately the pipe clamps I bought were too short to go around the whole thing here, so what I ended up doing was use 2 per to make one longer one. Same idea as using 2 zip ties to make a bigger one. And then I have a bunch of bungee cords down here just holding it steady. Now when I install the bar across here, okay, I'll be able to clamp it all the way around and I won't have to use these bungee cords. This is a temporary stopgap measure right here. Earlier today I stopped to get my water bottles filled up. I had gone on the trail a little bit of a trip, and I noticed something was missing. One of the bungee cords came loose and I lost my gas jug somewhere along the trail, so I had to backtrack, and luckily I found it and everything was okay. So what I had to do is, since I was short a bungee cord and I had no extra ones, what I did have in the storage here, some paracord, okay, and that did the trick. So I tied it all up temporarily so I wouldn't lose it again. But as you can see, there's plenty of room for a little cooler, a gas jug, and there's enough room for another gas jug. Or what I could actually do is, if the purpose of the trip is some sort of a big party, what I could actually do, and if I don't have far to go, I could get rid of this gas jug and put 2 coolers. One could be for refreshments and the other for food. Okay, so there's a lot of versatility in this kind of a setup. There's a nice flat surface here all the way around, well, 3/4 of the way anyways, and I could put really big objects on top of this and it wouldn't affect anything underneath, like skis or snowshoes or a big tent or something like that. By installing a rack like this and having some weight so far back past the rack, it does affect the performance of the vehicle. Okay, I've noticed that when I back up, especially with the passenger, the front end is pretty light. And the reason for that, if you just move back there, they move all the way back. Okay, see the axle is right here. Okay, so all this weight is like a big lever bringing the front end up. Okay, so that's something you need to keep in mind. Now, this particular machine is a 4x2, so it's only a 2-wheel drive, which having a light front end works to my advantage, because you know, in a 4-wheel drive vehicle, the front end will lift itself up over obstacles, but with a 2-wheel drive I don't have that functionality. With having some weight on the back here making the front end lighter, it's actually easier to bring the front end up and over obstacles. So a 2-wheel drive has the advantage of being a little bit better on gas. Mechanically it's simple, or more simple, and that means less of a chance of something going wrong. Not that these machines aren't reliable, but it's just something to keep in mind. Losing the gas jug today was kind of a blessing in disguise, because it illustrated the need for some extra bracing across here. When I first designed this, I wanted to eliminate any cross pieces, for the reason that if I, for whatever reason, needed to carry a load of firewood, alright, there'd be nothing here preventing me from stacking it this way. Alright, but for the odd time that I'll carry some wood, actually I can still carry wood with some cross bracing on the sides, because I can put some longer sticks on the top if I wanted to. So another modification is just that I'm going to need a cross piece here and along the side, so that the jug, if the bungee cords do come loose again at another time, that it won't bounce out off the side. By mounting it low, but not too low, it lowers the center of gravity and helps to make the four-wheeler more stable during travel. If I look around here, the width is, I pretty well nailed it first try. Okay, the 3 gas jug unit measurement worked out good, because it's not overly wide, so if I take a sharp turn, yeah, I don't have to worry too much about this sticking out and catching on a tree or something. At the beginning of the video I showed you the whole process, so here it is actually installed.
Yeah.